If you greenlight 3 of my movies, I'll do one of your choice. They went, we'll take that deal. So, shit, I should have said 5.
Richie? Yeah! When I count to 3, you shoot the bottles out from behind him. Oh yeah!
Wow, that was a tough movie. What happened was we were shooting at so low budget that we were ahead of the times. Quentin and I were making such low budget films that the unions weren't prepared for such low budget movies. So they were saying we couldn't make the movie. Like, couldn't even make it without a union contract. We actually had to stay on stage and shoot the stage work first. Because if we went to a location, they would be picketing and trying to stop us from filming. It was a very strange time, and independent filmmaking was coming back in a big way, and people weren't prepared for it. We shot the bar first. So the whole second half of the movie, we filmed first. So we started the movie by filming when he walks in the bar and says, hey, this is my favorite place.
Now, this is my kind of place.
To shoot a movie backwards, it's already going to be kind of, it heightens the sense of it being 2 different movies. Because the first movie really is more serious, like a Desperate Hours movie, and this is more like a Evil Dead Part 2 or something. Usually you would shoot somewhat chronologically, and in this movie you would want to shoot it chronologically so that you get them establishing their relationship with the family, with Harvey Keitel, you know, establishing them before they get to the bar, because then you have to pay that off. But for them to all meet for the first time there in the second half when they're already supposed to, it shows how incredible the actors are, because if you watch it, you would never know. You see George talking to Harvey like they've been talking all this time on the bus and on the motorhome, and they haven't. This is their first scene together.
Scotty, you ready? Here we go. You ready for one?
Okay. No, you won't.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will, because I'm not drinking by myself. Okay, round 2, you ready? Here we go.
Yes, I'll have another one, thank you.
On 3, 1, 2, 3.
It's pretty cool. There was a time when the anti-hero was very interesting, and usually when people are disillusioned with society, anti-heroes always come back. It might not have been the time when it was made, but at the time that it was first conceived, it was that kind of a feeling, and Quentin's attracted to those kind of movies too. The anti-hero movies, I mean Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, those are all anti-heroes. But you need someone really likable. So that's why I cast George Clooney, is that, yeah, he's a killer, but he's kind of like a softy killer, you know? He's kind of like, just really charming, and you just want to hang out with him. That's George.
Are you a faithless preacher? Or are you a mean motherfucking servant of God?
I discovered him for that movie. He hadn't really made a film before. He made like a real low-budget one some 10 years before. But he was just on television at that time. He was a really nice doctor for children, so nobody was giving him any offers for roles, but Quentin was going to direct one of the ER episodes, and he showed me an episode we watched together, and I was looking for someone to play the brother. And there was a bunch of actors you had seen that had done that kind of thing before, and it just seemed boring. I wanted to find someone new. And I saw a close-up on him. He kind of had like a big movie star look for a moment. But I thought, I don't know, his head was down a lot, and he was always, you know, he playing a really nice character. But then I saw him on a talk show where he didn't like the host. There was a bunch of people talking, and he wasn't talking. He was just sitting like this, and he had his boot up like that, and he was just like brooding. Wow, that guy's cool. There's something cool about that guy. So I called to meet him, and he rode up to my house on his Harley and put his boots up, and we were talking. And said, oh, this guy's a man's man. This guy said, I want you to be in my movie. We got to go convince Quentin. And it turned out to be a great choice, and it launched him as a star. When I did Mariachi, it was the same year Quentin had Reservoir Dogs out. So we were both popping up on the festival circuit a lot because we were on panels together. In fact, we were in some panels that were like violence in the movies in the 90s, even though it was only 1992. It was only 2 years into the 90s, and then violence in the movie in the 90s, and we'd have to sit there and defend our movies. They were both had guys dressed in black, and there was guns, and you know, Mariachi and Reservoir Dogs were similar that way. But it was cool. We met, and I actually videotaped the audience reaction to El Mariachi at Toronto. And all you can hear is Quentin. He was sitting next to me, like, he was laughing the whole time. So I have his laugh track from the first time he saw Mariachi. After that, we just became friends, and it turns out he had an office right next to me. And so we would be there writing together. So he would write Pulp Fiction and read me stuff, and I would write Desperado and show him storyboards, and we'd go eat hamburgers at lunch, and that's how we made those movies. fuck this, I'm out of here. I just showed this movie to my kids. They were blown away. They said, you never talk about this movie much. We thought maybe it didn't come out very good or something because you never talk about it, but it's great. They loved it. They still talk about it. And this is, that guy, Josh Hartnett, you know, he became a big star later, but that was his first movie, and he was just so cool. And I read a review recently that said that too. For a while there, it turns into his own action movie because I kept giving him, it was like with Clooney, I kept giving him cool stuff to do. So he has this big, robust car chase sequence and sends her out the windshield and her head's crawling along the ground. The movie was already kind of like The Thing, you know, in some ways. John Carpenter's The Thing. For me, the only thing that was missing was like a head crawling around, so I added that in. It wasn't in the original script. But that was very fun to make a movie like that. So this was right after Scream had done really well. And the studio called and said, hey, we'd love for you to do this movie for us called The Faculty. So you have to change the title. That's like a terrible title. I can tell you right now, I remember growing up, there was a movie called Teachers. And the last thing you want to do as a kid is go see a movie about teachers. It's like, we're trying to get away from the teachers. It's like calling a movie The Adults. Kids don't want to go see a movie called The Adults. They'll go see a movie called Scream. But people have discovered it later and say, hey, this is a really good movie, even though the title's whacked. They were always sending me scripts to direct for them. And I was like, no, and I'm writing my own stuff. And then they asked me so many times that finally one day I had this idea. I was at a party and I saw them sitting over there and I said, you're always asking me to do movies. I'll tell you what, if you greenlight 3 of my movies, I'll do one of your choice. I mean, greenlight, like put pictures, pay or play, you have to pay me whether you like the script or not. They went, we'll take that deal. So, shit, I should have said 5. And so they sent me The Faculty. They said, no, you gotta do my movies first and then I do that one. No, we don't have any time. Scream just came out. These movies will be dead in a year. We gotta do this one right now while it's hot. I said, okay, so you gotta do 5 of my movies. And they said, okay. Which was Spy Kids, Sin City, Spy Kids 2, Spy Kids. I ended up doing that. But it was a great deal, and so I thought, well, I wanted to learn how to shoot with special effects and stuff anyway, so we'll go ahead and do that movie, and Kevin Williamson's a great writer, I'll learn from him. But it was an assignment picture, and I really enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun. But I figured out how to do Spy Kids from doing that, and it helped me form my crew. They knew how I worked, so that by the time we did Spy Kids, we really prepared us for Spy Kids, which is a thing I was working on first. That's why I was able to do like kids movies at that studio, because they had made a deal with me. They wouldn't think too far in the future. They just wanted that one so bad they would say, yeah, we'll go make the other ones. But they actually turned out really good, and they made more money off those other ones than with that one for sure.
Open up, police!
I'll be right out.
Since it was all drawn up, that was completely drawn. I was a cartoonist originally, so I had always loved that kind of style of black and white. So what I did was I scanned all those drawings into the computer, and I did my own voiceover when I was writing the script, and I would edit together the drawings with sound effects and music, just like that. So you'd be seeing the drawing of him standing out there, and I would add the sound of the lighter, and then I would have the shot of the door exploding with sound effects. You'd see just the drawings. Your mind would fill in the rest, and you could watch the movie without movement and get a really amazing sense of how visceral it was going to be. It was so exciting. And so that's why it blows you away, because it's this very calm sort of voice talking, and the visuals just keep coming at you, you know. So I try to shoot it as bold as possible so that it would just be like, what am I watching, you know? How he did the lighting was just so cool. If you could do that in a movie, if movies could be that bold, that'd be amazing, but you can't. Until I learned green screen, and then I realized, oh, with green screen I could do that, and I can make any background I want. It could just be a square that's white, and it would look just like the book, and it would be stunning, because I didn't want it to look like a movie. Wow, that works pretty well. That's a track they're actually on, because he can't ride a motorcycle and spin with somebody on it. So it's actually on a track and it's just moving on its own, like a Disneyland ride. And then it spins on its own with wires. We pull it and the track has a circle on the end and we just erase it. That movie was really fun. That's the movie that made me realize, gosh, I just want to make B movies on purpose from now on, because we'd be trying to film really fast and we're about to shoot a shot of a guy there inside the jail cell. And somebody goes, oh, wait, you can see the light back there, the light, like that light right there, like a kino poking out. Oh, well, leave it. They'll think we did it on purpose because it's a low budget movie. It's supposed to be a low budget movie. So there's all kinds of mistakes like that. And if you look it up on IMDb under goofs and mess ups, it says all the mistakes in the movie are on purpose. So it's like they weren't, but people just think they were. So it gave you a lot of freedom. Even, remember Michael Biehn said, he was doing the shootout, he goes, am I supposed to care if I have 5 books or 6 I've already shot? Well, is it that kind of, no, are you kidding? We're still trying to figure out how she's firing the machine gun leg. There's no, okay, I was just wondering. I know that gun never runs out of bullets. You can just make up anything you want. There's a lot of freedom to that.
Alita, run!
Oh yeah. The night fight scene. Oh my God. And one time I was telling Jim, hey man, I came up with an idea I think might be work. But I don't know if this is a Robert Rodriguez idea or a Jim Cameron idea, because I get most of my ideas from your films. I've been watching some of my movies like, oh, that's a shot right out of the Terminator. You know, these movies get so much in your head that a lot of the moves that I've learned come from him. I mean, my action is very inspired by his action. So it's a good meld. I can't remember even which ideas were mine and which were his, because they kind of meld together. He wrote it out very clearly, but then I would draw up the big key scenes. I would draw them and cut them, just like with Sin City. I would cut them with sound effects and music so that we could watch it. I showed him some of the fight scenes, one of the big bar fight, early in the process. I mean, I had just finished the script. I said, you want to watch the bar scene? He's like, what? I said, yeah, I drew it and I cut it and put music and everything. He was watching, he was laughing. He goes, actually, the music should be lighter here because it's a celebration of her. And then it gets dark. Oh, okay, so I changed the music out. And we got to watch it before we ever did an animatic, before we got anyone involved, before we shot anything. So it's a lot of fun.